Good morning and welcome to the new episode of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. The mandarins and dailies, especially the Ministry of Finance, Trade, and so on, must be smiling, laughing, having a feeling of bliss. India was doomed to be a pariah nation by USA, especially as far as the currency practices and the policies are concerned. It was earlier a pariah nation when we talked of the non-alignment. It was a pariah nation when it had a Pokhran nuclear test. So anything which goes against the wishes of the people in USA, the ruling class, India becomes something to be looked at with horror. And then this sudden change, all that hate, all that anger, all that annoyance simply evaporates in thin air. And India has been removed from the list of the people, those countries which were being monitored, the currency monitoring list maintained by the USA. Naturally, this is surprising. But then, is it really surprising? The body politic of the geopolitical situation says that act according to your interests. So it's in US interest to ensure that India remains not antagonistic to it, not angry, not alarmed. So the US currency, no, what is this list? This is a list established by the US and it pays close attention to the currency practices and policies of trading partners. And it's among the few countries in the world which were recently removed by the US Department of Treasury. The announcement was in the biannual report of US Treasury Department submitted to the Congress. Along with India, Mexico, Italy, Thailand and Vietnam have also been removed. Now look at it. Mexico has very close ties and as a matter of fact, Mexico and Canada under NAFTA should not be under scrutiny. It's one economic zone. Anyway, Vietnam they had to remove because they wanted to encourage Vietnam to come to US camp against China, same as in India. And this was established to pay close attention to the major US trading partners so as to be able to see what they are going to do. And according to the report submitted to the Congress, the economies that meet the two of the three criteria for trade facilitation are added to the monitoring list. So they have three criteria, and if you satisfy two criteria, you are to be scrutinized. After all, the big boss has laid down three conditions, and although you are a sovereign nation, well, still, you have got to be kept under check. Now, once a country is placed on the list, it remains there for at least 2 consecutive years to help Treasury ensure that any improvement in the performance of the duration is intentional and not due to temporary factors. The report states Italy, India, Mexico, Thailand, and Vietnam have been removed from the monitoring list in this report because they have met only one out of the three criteria for 2 consecutive reports. And in the November report, it was submitted recently, just a few days back, the Treasury assessed the performance of 20 largest trade partners. And they met two of the three criteria. Which two criteria? A. Significant bilateral trade surplus with the USA. So USA is exporting more, importing less from these countries, and that country consequently is becoming richer at the cost of these countries. So why not do it? Now India is buying defense equipment like anything. USA, wherever it can, it has bought from China, Russia, it has bought from Israel, from France, from Germany, but mostly from USA. So USA is happy because its coffers are being fed. Second, and in this, let me tell you, a significant bilateral trade with the US means a trade surplus of $15 billion in goods and services. So $15 billion is not an insignificant amount. Second is material surplus. Now, what is material surplus? That is the account surplus. The department defines current material surplus as a surplus which is at least 3% of the GDP, or a surplus for which the treasury estimates there is a material current account gap. Now, they use a global exchange rate assessment framework, GIRAF, for this purpose. So 3% of the GDP surplus? Wow, these countries are boon to them. Now, don't you think this is the colonialism in the other way, hidden way? England took away more than $1 trillion worth of wealth from India. And if they can take $15 billion every year, something not to be sneezed at, they took it in more than 100 years, $1 trillion, and here they are taking $15 billion every year. And the third criteria, which they have not met, but if they meet two, that's sufficient. The third criteria is, in this criteria, what the Treasury Department deserves is repeatedly assesses the foreign currency's net purchases in at least 8 out of 12 months. And these net purchases total at least 2% of the GDP. 3%, 2%, as if these countries are like, in the old days, the king would go and conquer the countries and then he would say, well, you will pay me so much every year, and you'll be king, but you'll keep on paying me and follow what I say. So the purpose is the 2% of the current rate between US dollars and the currency, so that they do not have unfair competitive advantage. No, who is to decide what is fair and what is unfair? Naturally, Uncle Sam. If USA decides it's unfair, then it's unfair. And at present, now which countries are still on the monitoring list? Look at it. Japan, China, Korea, Germany, Singapore, Taiwan, Malaysia. Out of this, let's take up. Germany is a NATO partner and a part of the leading country of the European Union, and US has very close relationship with them. But no, if they are not economically subservient, they must be regularly monitored. Japan, Taiwan, and Korea, they are under the umbrella, the defense umbrella. But the defense umbrella, what it is, you keep on paying. If you don't keep on paying, then what's the umbrella meant for? After all, the rain should not fall on USA. So the umbrella is there for the purpose not of protecting these countries, but of the protecting the US interests. China, of course, is a big bugbear, is one of the countries which is challenging the supremacy of USA both politically and economically, so it has to be kept in check. And Singapore and Malaysia, they don't care. Singapore is one of the richest countries of the world, and it has a surplus trade with everybody. is not spending much on defense. Are you aware? They don't care for the defense because they say nobody is going to invade us. Though they have been invaded and colonized by the Britishers earlier. Same with Malaysia. Malaysia is spending on, but then they don't care. Now India, unfortunately, has two enemies. And US is very sensible. It's supplying equipment to both India and Pakistan. Pakistan, it gives in the shape of a donation. India has to pay. Well, why should India not pay? India is a rich country. It's a growing economy. So India should pay. And if it doesn't pay, it should be scrutinized. Every move, every trade activity. Now look at it. Pakistan was guilty of terror financing, and it is one now. It was on the grey list. And it was America which put it on the grey list, and yet Pakistan is not on the currency monitoring list. Have you thought why is it so? And especially when China and Pakistan are having very strong relationship. Now, this is a curious paradox. India and Pakistan are inimical. Pakistan and China are chummy. And both India and China were on the list. Now India has been removed. Pakistan was never on that list. And then President Biden says this is the most dangerous country in the world. And if it's the most dangerous country in the world, why is it not being scrutinized? Has somebody asked President Biden that he should ask his Treasury Secretary why this ambivalence? And if this ambivalence cannot be resolved, does it mean something is wrong with US monitoring system? But anyway, the fact that India has been removed, it is satisfying the mandarins sitting in the finance ministry and the Reserve Bank. But then it has two connotations. So we know why it has been removed, because it's paying heavily. US has a surplus payment, surplus trade. So fine, it's okay, let them do what they want. But the main reason is that in the changed political situation, Washington wants to be doing a favor to India. It wants to appear as if it's a very close friend of India and would help India whenever it's needed. Now, I know that the government of India is very pragmatic. They will not be taken in by these subterfuges. But then, would it be in the interest of India? Temporarily, yes. As long as India needs, it will keep on buying, even if the surplus is in favor of USA. But when it becomes self-sufficient, and what's the aim of the present government, what they call in Hindi, Atmanirbhar, self-sufficient, then of course they won't care. And this I must say to the credit of the Indian leaders. Whether it was at the time of Indira Gandhi, when she showed thumbs to Nixon at the time of Bangladesh, whether it was time of Atal Bihari Vajpayee, when he said we are going ahead with a nuclear test, or whether now. Indian leaders have always asserted themselves in the interest of their country, and that's a big thing. They have neither been purchased nor being cajoled and forced. And I must say this goes to the credit of the Indian leaders' character. Whatever fault they might have, but they are committed to their country. And so is this government. As a matter of fact, this government is ultra-nationalist. And as such, these actions, whether they put on the list or removed from the list, The government takes it, the leadership and the political leadership, I'm not talking of the maintenance, takes it in a very cool manner. It will thank it and will continue. They put it back on the list, the government will still thank it and continue. So whether they put it on the list or not is immaterial, but it shows the intent of USA. The country is devious, cunning, shrewd, and assumes that all others are nincompoops. And by the time wisdom dawns on them, they have lost their credibility. And that's why USA is losing its credibility. But anyway, congratulations to Indian Finance Trading Ministry. But then take care. This removal of the list is not a very happy sign. I would prefer to be monitored and still have a positive balance of payment and favorable balance of trade. That would be the ideal situation. Thank you.